Okay, so hello. I hope everyone is having a great day, a great Tuesday. Hello, everyone on YouTube, everyone that's watching. I just want to say thank you again, LaShana, for this opportunity. And I just wanted to say how grateful I am for this opportunity because being a part of content school was definitely I feel very grateful to be even chosen to be an instructor for this content school and such a great idea. And so I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on here and to basically share my story because that is the topic of today. And we are going to be talking about pivoting with a purpose, utilizing your story to communicate your message and your brand in and through your content. Okay. And so I just want to encourage everyone to please watch the other instructors as well as they teach various topics on content and how this type of information is top tier and prime information. So I hope you guys stay tuned for more instructors to come as well. So first, before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Forster. I am the owner of Moja Cupcakes, a gourmet home-based cupcakery and a business coach. And so I wanted to come on here today and talk a little bit about who I am, how I utilize my story, and how I pivoted and my own journey through my own career, but how I utilize that exact story that I have in the content that I post in my Moja Cupcakes Instagram page. Now, Moja Cupcakes has evolved, of course, and Moja Cupcakes is definitely a cupcake brand, and I do cupcake jars, but it has also evolved into a platform for me to also expand on my own brand as a business coach. So let's get into it and let's get started. So, first things first, I don't have any slides. I don't have any PowerPoint. Okay. So I'm old school. I need you guys to grab a pen and a paper and a pencil, either one. Okay, there's something powerful about writing things down and just to keep you on your toes. Make sure you're paying attention. Okay, so I will make note to make sure you write certain things down because I'm going to hit three main points today on how to utilize your story in your own pivot, in your own careers, and how you can show up online within that transition itself, just like I did. Okay. All right, you got your notepad, you got your pen and paper. I'll wait. Okay, you got it. Okay, let's get started. All right, so first things first, who's Elizabeth, right? Who am I, right? So my background is in animal science and veterinary medicine. I attended Tuskegee University and got my bachelor's in animal science. I also got my master's in public health. I also attended veterinary medical college and was pursuing veterinary degree to be a doctor, to be a veterinarian. Yes, I love animals, and yes, I love to help them, but more importantly, I love people. Okay. And we're make sure we that's a key point I want you guys to remember as I tell my story. So, yes, I love people, but I also love animals. And my journey into pursuing veterinary medicine was a very long one. And it ended in pivoting to cupcakes. It's like, how can you do that? Like, what happened? Okay, well, here's the tea. Here's the tea. I'm gonna tell you what happened, okay? So, as I was attending veterinary college, I went through a lot of challenges and a lot of struggles within college. I actually was pushed back twice. I had a lot of academic issues. in school, but I also had a lot of personal issues while trying to attend school and become a veterinarian. And so much so to where during college, I was in a car accident. I was hospitalized I had a blood clot in my leg. There was at some point where I was suffering from heavy depression. I had really bad anxiety, and on top of that, starting into school, I was also in leadership, and so I was a class president at some point. There was a moment where I started my own club because I wanted to utilize my passion of people in my master's of public health degree and combining that with animal science. And so I started my own club. I was very active. I was very persistent rather, and I did not want to give up. And it came to a moment where I was a third year and there was a couple of tests and I was still struggling. Oh, and not to mention I fell down some steps where I pulled my shoulder muscle to where I was also in class in surgery where you had to use your arm. So I had to sit out of surgery. It was just so much that I went through personally that affected my journey. So much so that I was determined, okay, to graduate, to get my degree. I spent since almost 18 years of age as an undergrad student in college, all the way up until I was in my 30s. Hello, pursuing veterinary medicine. I was going, no, I was going to get this degree. Did I get that degree? No. It was still at a certain point where I was still struggling academically, and they can give you also many chances to continue failing classes and then redoing them. So ultimately, I was dismissed from the program and I was no longer in veterinary medical college. Mind you, this is in 2019, and I had a choice. I had a choice to whether I'm from California and I was in Alabama. Either I moved back home to California or move a state over to Georgia. We picked Georgia. Yeah, we did. And so moving to Atlanta was a major move for me because now I had just been dismissed out of this lifetime of a pursuing of a career. Now I'm working as a vet tech and COVID hits. Now I have the time. Now I have the money. Not only COVID hits, the stimmy check, okay? That stimmy came through. I also was able to get my refund check, and I was getting paid the full amount of money that my job was offering, even though we weren't working the full 5-day shift to reduce the amount of time we're in contact with each other because of COVID. So, what did I do? I had to sit in it. I had to now sit in the realization of where my life was and what was really happening. And I had to sit and understand that, okay, Elizabeth, if you no longer have veterinary medicine in your life to pursue, who's Elizabeth? And so 2020 really allowed me to sit and reevaluate my life, reevaluate who I am as a person, and to reevaluate my gifts. Now, all through college and all through the years, I love to make cupcakes. I love to create. I'm a creative by heart. I can draw. I love music. I'm a very creative person. I love doing things. I'm good with my hands, and so when left with the decision of understanding, okay, Elizabeth, are you going to then continue to pursue and be in this world of veterinary medicine, knowing that you can no longer achieve the goal that you set out to achieve, and now you have a cap over how much and how you can do in this field, or pick something else? I said, if I can't be the doctor, then I don't see myself going anywhere here. So who's Elizabeth and what does she like to do? What does she want to do? What is she good at? Cupcakes. Let's start creating a business. So that is how it led me into Moja Cupcakes. And my story, getting to that point, took a lot of self-reflection, took a lot of healing. I grieved a career, but what it also did is it made me realize that throughout this journey, all the things that I've learned, all the things that I've gained throughout my time, and really relearning who I am, it allowed me to then create a way to make those things of myself, those gifts that I already have, and create a platform for them. And that's exactly what I did when it came to my creativity, to my love for baking, my love for just creating overall. Okay. And so within that, I was able to then use the STEMI, use the money for the job and my refund check to focus on learning how to bake from scratch, creating a business, getting the LLC. But what I did do is I didn't do the LLC first. I didn't get the logo first. I didn't get the website first. What I did first was focus on me. And at any point that I talk to any new entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneurs, I make a point to say that the first step in entrepreneurship is not the business, is not the website, it's you. You are the first most important aspect of your business. It's you, because you have to tap into who you are, your gifts, and your why as to why you are pursuing this business. And that's first thing. So I hope you have your pen and paper ready to go. The first point that I want to make, and I want to make sure that I'm clear with this, is that this is the first principle of entrepreneurship, of using your own story and how I'm using mine to then create content behind that, is that the first thing is that people buy into you before they buy from you. Okay? Write that down. Let me repeat that. Make sure you write this down. Principle number one, people buy into you before they buy from you. Okay? And an example of that, and we're going to continue with the story and how I utilize that. As I started my journey in creating cupcakes and doing my business and really expanding and then showing up on social media, showing what I created, not only am I just showing it, I knew that that wasn't enough. I had to make sure that I let people know on Instagram and in person, you know, what this business is. It's not just a cupcake business just because I like to make cupcakes. No, this is a business that I started from understanding who I truly am. And when I then explain that to people, they say, oh, okay, more than likely, they just want to buy just to support me, just to support the journey that I just shared with them. Or if I'm in person, and it's an example, in 2021, 2022, as I'm getting started, I created this thing called Parking Lot Pimpin'. I know. Parking lot pimping, like what? Okay, girl. But listen, Linda, listen. So I met a girl who was a hustler, right? Here in Atlanta, people hustle, okay? Especially back in 2020, 2021, and 2022. You cannot find nobody who did not have a business, okay? So I met a girl, she had a business. She told me, hey, I sell my stuff outside of my trunk. You should come with me one day. I said, I don't know about that. She's like, you should just come. So I did. I made a whole bunch of cupcakes. I packed them up and I sold outside of my trunk. Literally right next to her as she sold She made some drinks, some alcoholic drinks, and then I think she had some clothes. Like, child, we were just selling stuff. But that experience and that push made me really understand that people just want to, if they see you outside, just in general, it doesn't matter what you're selling. They just see you, they want to come and support you. And then you tell them you have sweets, you have whatever business, you have something that they may be interested in. Their first approach to you, as even just in the parking lot, they want to know, what are you doing out here selling something outside of your trunk? More than likely, maybe I want to say nine, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but 8 times out of 10, I got this. Not because it's like, oh, cupcakes. It's because they are already intrigued by me. Okay. Now, that opportunity to then introduce myself helped me with my confidence. It helped me gain my ability to tell my story easier, faster, and clear. Because then they ask me, what's Mocha Cupcakes? I tell them the story, I tell them my background, and they say, oh, wow, let me support you. That's it. But utilizing my own story, utilizing my own journey, and then putting that interaction, and then recording myself and putting it online, and then doing that consistently, people started to see, oh, what's parking lot pimping? I want to come out and do that too. I want to keep out. And then not only did it inspire others to want to, be bold enough and go in a parking lot and sell their things to practice with their confidence. Not only did it invite others to then be to be more confident in how they show up, but it allowed me to continue to showcase my own journey on through the content. I'm creating the I'm sorry, I'm recording myself create these packs of cupcakes, recording myself show up in a parking lot, recording myself saying, hey, I'm out here, I got all this stuff, I want y'all to come and check me out. When it comes to content and it comes to showing up and then utilizing your story that you've pivoted into now creating a purpose behind, once was a, for me, was once a failure, and now I've turned it around and to create more of a moment that now I'm getting my putting the my I'm putting my I can't think of the word, but I'm putting myself out there, to then create a whole new world for myself. People relate to that because not only is it not easy to do that, okay, people deep down already may have a desire, but may be afraid. So by showing up and just showing up and then going out and doing it for others, that may be scary, but for some, it's inspirational. So principle number 1, okay, I hope you wrote this down, is that people buy into you before they buy from you. And the way you continue to just show your journey on Instagram, on TikTok, and how you just show up, even in the midst of the journey, people are going to continue to follow your story and continue to support you. Okay. All right. Now, moving on. Principle number 2. You guys ready? I hope you guys got some gems from that. Moving on to principle number 2. As how you show up online and how you tell your story, for me, how I'm pivoting my own career, my own life with a specific purpose is to now is evolving into then showing up, as I just stated, how I'm now inspiring others. Not just because I've just created a cupcake brand, because now people are aware as to where she was and now what she's doing. Let me continue watching what she's doing because I'm inspired by that. Okay. So, principle number 2 is that your story helps your audience basically understand your why. Okay. Your story helps your audience understand your why. And when I say that to say, because when posting on Instagram, of course, you have a certain schedule, you have a certain style of content that you create. There's reels, there's photos, there's carousels, right? There's, just regular one post. There's your stories, there's links in your stories, however you show up, on all the different ways you show up within that journey. For me, I constantly reminded people where I started from to where I'm at now, and to showcase my why, because now my why is evolving into, you know what, people are being inspired by this. So let me continue showing how my pivot into this career is can help and motivate others. How did I do that? By then utilizing your behind the scenes, utilizing your old photos, utilizing your old videos of your other life, of your the where you came from, utilizing the behind the scenes of you going to the grocery store, behind the scenes of you in the kitchen, or showing old pictures of, for me, I shared old videos and pictures of me while I was in vet school, and then I transitioned into what I'm doing now. And so it gives you more context, not just me telling you story, but now I'm showing you literally videos, pictures, images of what once was. And this is indicating the pivot, where she started from to where she is now. And as you grow your audience, as you grow your following, as you grow your community, you are now allowing them to grow with you. Okay. So your behind the scenes is crucial. You want to be able to show why you're doing what you're doing and the process doing it. Okay. And that goes into the basics of content. I don't know if anyone's heard this term before, but it's called B-roll, of just recording yourself doing your daily tasks. Doesn't have to be edited, doesn't have to be super perfect. It can literally just mean taking a tripod, setting up your phone, pressing record, and then doing what you're doing, whether it's watching TV, washing dishes, folding your clothes, cleaning your house, being in the kitchen. That's B-roll. It's just a series of videos of doing your daily thing, of your daily duties. That is an insight that people, I myself, I love to watch. Okay. First things first, people are nosy. Okay. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know how you do it. They want to know where you got that from, right? It's the daily activities that get people pulled in, because it's showcasing you're human. You struggle with things just like they do, and there's a sense of connectivity, there's a sense of belonging when it comes to connecting with your audience, of why they're following you, because there's some type of connection there. So really allowing behind the scenes being that way to showcase that is a very powerful tool. Of course, like I said, using old pictures definitely helped share my why to people as to why I continue to show up in my cupcake business, because from starting from where I started in my own career in veterinary medicine, and then failing out of college, and then pivoting into entrepreneurship, that story alone and showing that process alone then gives me the platform to say why this matters, because there's other people. You just never know who's watching. You never know who you're inspiring. You never know who you're motivating. But utilizing your own story to do so will definitely gain more authority online when using your content. Okay, people consume content like it's water. Okay, so if you stay consistent with your content and then continue telling and nurturing that story, but not only the story but the why behind why you're doing what you're doing, you never know who is inspired by that, because it just people always have good ideas, but something is always blocking that idea, or someone has told them in the past as to why they can't do what they're doing, or so it's to understanding purpose understands that whatever you're doing is not for you, it's for others. Okay, so when we talk about the title of this topic today, and mind you, we are still on point two of your story helps your audience understand your why. The topic of today, pivoting with a purpose. What does that mean? What does purpose mean to you? Purpose really means is that your gift, your passion that you have, the things that you do, the business idea, the way you show up in your content, it's not for you. It's for others. And when it comes to purpose and pivoting, for me and how I then show up online, my purpose, as I said it stated earlier, has evolved into business coaching. And my purpose now, it has evolved into wanting to make sure that I show up and continue to be consistent in my own business, but not so much, not always just in the business side, but in the coaching side. And that is what's going to help continue build my own business by continuing to help show people in that journey itself. So, woo, that was a lot, guys. That was a lot, but we are almost there at the home stretch. We are at principle number 3, okay? And this one got some gems. I got some gems for you. Okay, so principle number 3, I hope you're ready to write this down. Ready? Okay. Principle number 3. You don't need to make content. You need to document your journey. Hello. Let's say that again. You don't need to make content. You don't need to make content. You need to document your journey. That's it. That's it. That's it. So a few months ago, maybe 6 or so months ago, I created a digital download ebook called You Are the Content. Okay, that was the title of it, but it really expanded on how to show up on Instagram utilizing who you are as a person. Okay, but what it really means is that your day-to-day life, who you are, your own journey, and just documenting it, that is the content. You don't need to make now, mind you, there's ways you make content, meaning you set time apart, you record yourself either doing a talking point, you do like a silly reel, a dance, a voiceover, you're showing certain aspects of your business, right? Making content. But all in all, that content that you're making comes from your day-to-day of what you've already been doing. You just got to remember to document it. You just got to remember, hit that record button. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay? Because your lived experiences become the actual content plan. So when you sit down and do your content, and I hope whoever is watching this and is intrigued by this content school and really want to learn content, just keep in mind that the plan that you have is already involved in your living experiences. Okay? The content is already there. You have to remember that. It's not as hard as we make it seem. The content is already there. Your lived experience, me, my journey through pivoting from veterinary medicine, being fell out of school to being immersed in entrepreneurship, learning, reading, listening to podcasts. That is a part of the journey. Okay? So what I always say now, thinking back, is that my story is the strategy. The way that I showed up, the way that I went through the journey in entrepreneurship, what I focused on me first, and then I learned about the business, and then I perfected the product, and then I gained more confidence in myself. That is the strategy, right? But my story alone, you have to live through it. You're going to have to live through it. You just got to remember to document it. Okay. You just got to remember to document it. Now, within this principle number 3 of you don't need to make content, you need to document the journey, the documents, the videos, the pictures that you've collected now, you can now attach that with the music, with the captions, with the voiceover. And the captions becomes the context of the visual content that you just recorded. You may have a week's worth of B-roll. You remember what that was, right? You may have a 2 weeks worth of, or a whole list of a whole videos and pictures of an event you just did a week ago. You utilize that experience to then create the context in the caption and where you're at in the process of your business. You can either teach, you can either share how that event went, you can give thanks to the people who put on the event, right? But it's a matter of having that documented journey already ready to go. You are the content. I can't say that. I cannot not say that enough. You are the content, okay? So storytelling, in the story that you're living today is probably the most consumed type of content of this day. If you are a TikToker, if you are on TikTok heavy, then for sure, the daily amount of information that is consumed, and I'm guilty of it myself, okay? What's about it's what about is going on in the moment right now, today, okay? I know everyone is tired of hearing this, or may not be tired of hearing it, but Love Island took over the world. But the way the TikTok community and Instagram community has banded together over this Love Island obsession is because it was happening in real time. The contestants, the islanders that were out there in Fiji were what was then put on Peacock was literally happening in real time. That is what people love. I loved it too. Hey, listen, Nickelandria all day, okay? If you know, you know. All right. So, principle number 3, and this is my last point, we'll get out of here, that you don't need to make content. You need to just document the journey, okay? So, I hope everyone enjoyed that lesson of today. I hope you guys got your 3 points to take away, utilizing your story and understanding that when you're pivoting in any career, you have to then understand that the journey that you're going to take is actually the strategy that is going to get you to success. Pivoting with a purpose, knowing who you are and knowing how and what you do in your business is for others, not you, okay? Number 1, let's recap that principle number 1, people buy into you before they buy from you, okay? Principle number 2, your story helps your audience understand your why. Start sharing those behind the scenes. Start sharing the 10 years ago post. For me, it was showing the post of me used to be in vet school. I had my lab coat. I was holding pets. Like, wow, she really came from somewhere. Now she's in entrepreneurship. I'm intrigued. I want to learn more. Let me continue following her. By the way, let me see what she's doing, how she's doing it. Let me continue consuming her content because I can now relate to her story. Okay. And last but not least, number 3, you don't need to make content. You need to document that journey. Okay. That's all it is. You are the content. Okay. So I hope you guys really took away some gems from today. I really appreciate you paying attention. I hope you go back to your notes, and I really appreciate everyone that has stayed tuned to the end to watch this, and I really appreciate you guys. All right, make sure to follow Moja Cupcakes on Instagram and TikTok. All right. And I think I saw I saw a question or a comment. She said, great job. Make sure. Oh, yes. Mocha Cupcakes, com is where you can find my cupcake bars and order your cupcakes. And then Mocha Cupcakes on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great day, evening, night, morning.